Hello everyone, I am Chase at Rocky Mountain ATVMC here to show you our top picks and our favorite goggles for 2019. All right, so as you can see on the table today, we are talking all about goggles. Now, as many of you know, we have a lot of great goggle options that you can choose from at Rocky Mountain, which means shopping for goggles sometimes can be a nightmare, but we want to make it a little bit easier for you. So we've got on the table today some of our top picks and our best-selling goggles that we're going to talk about. We'll go through, talk about each goggle individually, talk about the key features and the highlights of those that separate them, and explain why we put them into our top 5. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind when it comes to goggles is that these are an apparel item, which means if you buy any goggle at Rocky Mountain, if you're not happy with the sizing or the fitment, we have our fit guarantee, which means if you're not happy with that fitment, send it back to us in brand new, unused condition. We know that fitment is crucial. We want to make sure that you get it right, so we give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange. The other thing I want to mention is that I have worn and ridden in every goggle that is on the table, so I will give my thoughts and comments on these goggles, what I like about them, what I think separates them from the rest, but nothing would make me happier. If you have one of these goggles, leave your comments below. It's going to help other riders out. And also, if you have a goggle that you don't see in this guide today, well, do not fret. Just let us know what goggle that is below. Explain to us what you like about it and why you think it should maybe be in our top 5. Other than that, let's get rocking and rolling with our first set of goggles. All right, so first up in our guide, we've got 100%, and we've got 2 goggles from them that we want to share. We've got the RACECRAFT Plus, and we've got the ACCURI. Now, before we dive in, we talk about why we like these goggles so much. I do want to talk about fitment with these real quick. So in my opinion, the 100% goggles, they do fit a little bit narrow. I don't have a wide face, not too skinny. I'm kind of right in the middle. When I put these goggles on, they kind of rest right on the edge of my eyes. So I kind of have to stretch them out to get a good comfortable fit. So just something to keep in mind. If you do have a wider face, just remember these are just a little bit narrow in my opinion. But aside from that, a couple features about these that really stand out right off the bat is one, 100% has a lot of cool colorways, some of my favorites that are on the market. And also what I really like that is unique to 100% is that all the goggles in the lineup, from the premium goggle, the RACECRAFT Plus, all the way down to the Strata, they all have the same lens shape. In other words, if you have, say, an ACCURI or a RACECRAFT Plus or even a Strata, if you want to, all the lenses are going to be interchangeable, which I think is pretty cool. But with the RACECRAFT Plus, what I like about this goggle, it's the same frame as a RACECRAFT, but what they've done now is they now have an injection molded lens in the RACECRAFT Plus. So an injection molded lens, I'm a big fan of these. It means they're optically correct. In other words, they are pre-curved before you put them into the goggle. So if you ask me, in my opinion, I think spending the little extra money to get an injection molded lens is definitely worth it. But also I think for the price point that you're getting this goggle with an injection molded lens, I think is really fair. The other feature I really like too is you've got quad layer face foam on the back. We don't see that too common with, or too often with goggles. So having that quad layer face foam is just going to do a little bit better job of absorbing sweat and absorbing moisture. Now going from the RACECRAFT Plus, if you don't want to spend the premium price, but you like the design, you like the cool colorways, then I would say go with the ACCURI from 100%. So the ACCURI, the big difference here, you're going to have triple layer face foam instead of quad layer, but triple layer is still great. And you're also not going to get outriggers like you're getting with the RACECRAFT Plus. Now outriggers, if you're not too familiar with those, I'll explain that now with these. That way you know what I'm talking about the rest of the goggles. Outriggers, what they actually allow you to do is, you can see I've got this pair here right on the Shoei VFX Evo. When you put the goggle on, an outrigger is attached to the strap. This allows you to put the goggle on, you get a good tight seal to your face, and the strap, rather than pulling the frame away from the rider's face, is actually pulling on the outrigger instead. So it just allows you to get a good tight fit, and it doesn't pull the frame off the rider's face. So it really just depends. If you want the injection molded lens with the outriggers, if you want to save a few bucks, then go with the ACCURI. But that's our first pick, is 100%. All right, so second up in our list, we have got the new foundation goggle coming from Spy. So this goggle is all new. It came out in 2018. And something I really like about this Spy, they meant business. They did a lot of testing with top-level riders, including one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Jeremy McGrath. And you know when you get top-level riders like Jeremy McGrath, you're going to have a good final product. And the big feature about these that to me really stands out is Spy claims that these have the widest peripheral vision of any goggle that is on the market. And by golly, I have to say, I have put these goggles on back to back with all the other goggles that are up here in our lineup, and they definitely, in my opinion, do have one of the widest, if not the widest peripheral vision of any goggle that I have worn. And that's just the truth. When I put them on, I really do feel like I can see more out of my peripheral. So if you're looking for a goggle that has a really good wide peripheral vision, then definitely this is a goggle that you would want to choose. Real quick, a couple other features that I do like about it. Again, you're gonna have your outrigger system. They use their happy definition lens, which they say is gonna give a better clarity, better vision in different lighting conditions. But also they say it helps reduce distortion in your peripheral because this is a traditional Lexan lens. My only knock on the foundation goggle is I wish that the price would come down a little bit for this goggle since you're not getting an injection molded lens. But again, you just can't beat that peripheral vision. That is the foundation goggle coming from Spy. All right, so next up, we've got the Prospect goggle coming from Scott. Now the Prospect's only been around a couple years, but quickly has become very popular and for good reason. It's a very comfortable goggle. I really like the fitment of it. Also, nice wide peripheral vision. Something that Scott really wanted to achieve when they designed this goggle was have a thinner frame, because you gotta remember with the goggle frame, the closer you can get that lens to be to your eyes, the less tunnel vision you would have. Think of it kind of like a camera. If you have a camera, you're zoomed all the way in, your peripheral vision gets less. But if you're zoomed all the way out, you actually can see more out to the sides. And that's the same concept that you're gonna get with the goggle frame. So I like what they've done there, getting that nice wide peripheral vision. I do like the face foam on these, so it's a triple layer face foam, but this fleece liner against your face has these little dimples in it. So they've actually put those there to help increase the amount of moisture that the goggle can absorb. Nice wide 50mm strap. I'm a big fan of these. I think the 50mm strap looks really good on helmets. And looking at the frame, you're gonna have an outrigger system, but the big story I wanna talk about is gonna be with their lens lock technology. So it's a traditional Lexan lens that you're getting with the Prospect. I really hope that in the future that Scott does go to an injection molded lens. But what I do like is their lens lock. So we all know that your lens, that's the only thing separating your eyes from a piece of roost from another bike or maybe a tree branch. So what they've done, they've incorporated 4 pins. You've got 2 up here on the top, 2 down here on the bottom. Those pins actually lock the lens into place once it's installed. So if you do get some roost or a tree branch, that's gonna help prevent that lens from popping out. So that's a great safety feature that they've built into the Prospect. So again, very comfortable, super wide peripheral vision, and I'm a big fan of that lens lock technology. All right, next up, we've got the View goggle coming from Fox Racing. Now, something that really stands out about the View goggle is when Fox was designing and developing this goggle, they tested it exclusively with Ken Roczen. So you know, when you are testing and building a product with Ken Roczen, you're gonna have a really good final product. And I think that they did a fantastic job. I'm a big fan of this goggle. Yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but definitely some features that I really like. So first, with fitment, probably one of the more comfortable goggles that I have worn. I really like the face foam, just how the goggle fits. Also, injection molded lens, you know I'm a big fan of those, optically correct, but the big feature that I love so much about this goggle is their true lock system. We all know that when it comes to changing a traditional Lexan lens, depending on the goggle you have, it can be kind of a nightmare sometimes, especially if you do have gloves on. So with their true lock system, it makes swapping lenses very, very easy. The way you do it is you literally just twist the outriggers. They actually come right off of the frame. It just takes a few seconds. Pop the lens off, pop the other lens on, put your outriggers back on, and you are good to go. So if you're looking for a goggle that I think does everything really well, but also has a very good lens changing system, then definitely the View goggle is one you'd want to check out. All right, so last but not least, we've got 2 goggles from Oakley we want to share with you. We've got the AIRBRAKE, we've got the Frontline, and we'll talk about the AIRBRAKE first. Now, a few years back when Oakley came out with the AIRBRAKE, in my opinion, they changed the game when it comes to goggles. First goggle to have an injection molded lens, so optically correct. I also really like that they use Plutonite for the lens material, which is a highly impact resistant material, so great protection for the rider's eyes. There's a couple other features that I really like about it. It's a very comfortable goggle, really good vision. But what's unique about this is that just about everything on this goggle is interchangeable. In other words, if you want to, you can swap out the riggers, you could change the frame, the strap. They have a roll-off system, and to install that, it's really simple. All you do is just swap out the outriggers and you're good to go. But the biggest features about this that I like is, one, how quick and easy it is to change your lens, and also just the lens technology itself. So they call it their switch lock system. In my opinion, hands down, the best lens changing system that is on the market. I can even show you how quick and easy it is to use. So you've got these 2 red tabs, you have one on each side, so when you're ready to swap out a lens, or maybe just clean your lens, you pull down on this tab, you pop these up, and then once you've done that, you literally just pop your lens off these little posts, put your new lens in, or clean it, put it back in, pop these back down, they'll lock into place, and you're good to go. So definitely the fastest, best lens changing system that is out there. And also another feature that I really like with Oakley and their lenses is they have their prism lens technology. Now, some goggles will come with a prism lens, some without. So do not fret if you don't have the prism lens, you can just buy it separately. But the prism lens technology, we've seen this from Oakley. What it does, it actually separates the shades of brown. So if you're out riding on a track, it's gonna help you distinguish those different shades, or maybe in a wooded area, if you have a lot of shadows, it really just helps distinguish those and just give you better clarity. I've actually been using the prism lens now for a while. I'm a huge fan, and I really do believe in their technology. Now from the AIRBRAKE, you've also got the front line. So the things that these two goggles share is they both utilize the same lens technology, so you're getting that injection molded plutonite lens. Just like with the AIRBRAKE, the front line does come with or without the prism lens. But also something to note is that the front line does have a 50mm strap, which is wider than the AIRBRAKE. Also just a really cool, unique look to it, I think. You got more of that frameless look to it. So a lot of riders, if you're choosing between these two, might just decide which one they think looks best. But ultimately, both these goggles are priced about the same. You're not getting that switch lock technology with the with the front line, so it's not as easy to swap out a lens. So in my opinion, if you were asking me, I would say that bang for your buck, if you want the most value, if you're spending this much money, I would say the AIRBRAKE is going to be the better of the two, but ultimately that's going to be up to you as a rider. But those are our last two goggles in the lineup. We got the AIRBRAKE and the front line from Oakley. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. Those are some of our top picks and our best-selling goggles here at Rocky Mountain. Now, if you have any other questions about any of the goggles we talked about, or if you want to hear some of my own feedback about these, do not hesitate. Comment below. We will get those questions answered. To pick up any of these goggles, it's very simple. Just click on the link at the end of this video. If you guys like this buyer's guide, well, do not hesitate. Click subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's going to keep you up to date. And also keep in mind that if you saw a goggle up here that you're interested in, that you like, we have product spotlights on all the goggles that were on the table today. So make sure, give those a watch when we talk about them in full detail. Orders over $75, ship free. I am Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.